Good day, everyone. I am Mia Olivia M. Cano, and I am the second discussant of Group 3. And my report is all about the continuation of the 6 levels of cognitive domain. So, as Inab said, we have 6 levels of cognitive domain. So, we have here the revised by Lauren and David, which refers to remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So we have that one belief saying that everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live a whole life believing that it is stupid, right? So as a future educators, we need to understand that every student is an individual learner, is a unique learner, kumbaga authentic, okay? So that has a different skill sets and abilities and capabilities to absorb information. So, kaya meron din tayong tinatawag na multiple intelligence, di ba? So that means that we have to deal with different strategies and method of learning to reach our learning targets. But before doing that, we must focus first on creating our learning objectives. So today, I will introduce to you the different and appropriate verbs that we can use on our learning targets or in our learning objectives. So when we say verbs, okay, these are the key to write good outcomes as they can define exactly what the student is expected to be able to do. Okay? So, di ba, we can just simply say to learn numbers, to understand patterns, to see, to write, di ba? So, we must be specific on writing our learning objectives. Remember the SMART on creating our learning objectives, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So it should be S, specific. So flash on your screen the verbs that we can use on creating our learning objectives. Okay, so and the strategies din pala, learning activities or strategies to have an effective learning. So as you can see on the under the remember cognitive level, so we have here arrange, define, identify, indicate, label, list, and so on. So here under the remember level, it's more on recognizing the knowledge. Okay, so while under the understand cognitive level, we have compare, classify, describe, discuss, explain, give examples, and so on. So here, it's more on translating and interpreting the knowledge. So in this level, students can be able to understand and digest the lesson or the topic in their minds. So for example, on reading, diba? You can just simply read, but you have to comprehend and understand the flow of the story. Okay, so next, let's proceed to apply. Okay, so in applying, pupils can use learned material in new and concrete situations. So the verbs under third cognitive domain, we have calculate, complete, demonstrate, execute, illustrate, and so on. So for the fourth level, we have the analyze. So here we have categorize, contrast, compare, criticize, and so on. So it breaks down the information to look at relationship. Okay, so for the fifth level, we have evaluate. It makes judgments based on evidence found. So we have here attribute, argue, assess, check, compare, and so on. So for the last level cognitive domain, we have arrange, calculate, compose, construct, design, develop, and so on. So on the last level, dito na po natin ma-apply yung theory po ni John Dewey, which is yung learning by doing. So we have compiled information to generate new solutions. So as you can observe, some of them have these similarities since these verbs focuses on the cognitive. So again, when we say cognitive, it focuses on intellectual skills. Okay? But since siguro magtataka kayo why there's an application there, why bakit may create, ganon. Kasi the goal of this level is to have a long-term knowledge and to master the knowledge. Para mas maging effective yung first level, it should be followed by another level to have an effective and long-term learning. So, bala in knowledge kasi, di ba, gaya ng sabi ni ma'am, it should be a spiral. So, step-by-step process. Gaya nga ng sinabi ni Ina kanina, may sequence, okay? So here, we have also different learning activities. So under remember, under understand, under apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. And so on. So, proceed tayo sa example. So, from the learning competency, fourth quarter in kindergarten, so, yung addition po na topic. So, for example, here, di ba, when we are making a lesson plan, on the part of discussion, we start by defining the topic. So, for example, here, under remember, what is addition? Okay? So, for the students to be able to know the topic, you should define it first to them. So, that's under remembering. Remembering level cognitive domain. So, next is understand. So, here, you can use different strategies, gaya ng mga binigay kong example kanina, or relate it into real-life situation for them to have a deeper understanding about the topic. So, you should use different strategies para maging learner-centered at maging interactive yung klase. So, for example here, why is it when we combine 3 apples and 4 apples, the answer is 7 apples? So, we can use graphic organizers, flowcharts, and etc. to introduce it to them. So, di ba? We can just simply define it, tapos na, di ba? So, next is apply. So, dito na po tayo mag-provide ng examples. Next is analyze, okay? Analyze. So, here, it's more on analyzing. So, like, for example, how do you find the total number of apples? So, di ba, when you use this level of cognitive domain, mas magiging student-centered yung klase. Kasi yung student mismo, yung mag-a-analyze kung paano or ano yung addition, okay? So, after than that, we have evaluate how many apples are them in all. And for the last level, dito na po papasok yung creating. Dapat sa last level na ito, ay dapat naintindihan na nung bata kung ano yung addition. So, when 4 are added to 2 oranges, how many oranges are there in all? Okay? So, like what I said earlier, so bala and knowledge, di ba? Kasi it should be a spiral. So, you start by defining, to explaining, giving examples, analyzing, and so on. Okay? So, for the next slide. Okay, so for you to remember the Bloom's taxonomy, here is the interdependence of Bloom's different learning levels can be articulated through logics. Okay? Wait. Okay. So, before we can understand the concept, we must be able to remember it. Before we can apply the concept, we must be able to understand it. Before we analyze it, we must be able to apply it. Before we can evaluate its impact, we must have analyzed it. Before we can create something based on the concept, we must have remembered, understood, applied, analyzed, and evaluated the concept. Ayan. So, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, to master the knowledge, it should be followed by another level. Okay? So, here, just remember the Bloom's taxonomy, KICA-ASE, which refers to knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So for the Bloom's taxonomy revised by Lauren and David, which refers to remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So in summary of Bloom's taxonomy is a framework for learning that can help you to understand the different levels at which you will master the knowledge. Again, you will master the knowledge. And as a learner, it can help you to improve how you structure your studying and how you engage with your competence. And lastly, as a future educator, it can help us to better plan our lessons and better measure our students' competence. So that's it for my report.